The silverware gleams under my mother's dining room chandelier, each place setting arranged with military precision. 8 of us sit in suffocating silence, while the grandfather clock in the corner marks every excruciating second. My mother's hands tremble as she raises her water glass. A drop spills onto the crisp white tablecloth. I know that look in her eyes. I've seen it before every major family confrontation since I was 12. The same look she wore when she told me about marrying Bruce. Bruce clears his throat, his fingers drumming against the mahogany table. Amber, we need to discuss your brother. And there it is, the real reason for this family dinner. What about Zach? My voice stays steady even as my stomach clenches. The pot roast I'd barely touched sits like lead in my gut. If you won't help Zach, Bruce says, each word precise as a knife strike, you're not family anymore. The clock ticks 7 times before his words fully register. My mother stifles a sob. Uncle Ray shifts in his chair, his fork scraping against china. Cousin June stares at her plate, shoulders hunched. An ambush. They'd planned this whole dinner as an ambush. He's your brother. Mom's voice cracks. Family has to support each other. That's what we do. I think of my spa. The new equipment I'd just ordered. The lease I'd finally paid off. 7 years of 16-hour days. Of choosing between groceries and supplies. Of building something real. Something mine. After all we've done for you. Uncle Ray's disappointment cuts deeper than Bruce's threats. He'd helped me study for my business certif exam. Celebrated when I signed my first lease. Bruce leans forward, hands clasped on the table. No more holiday invitations, no inheritance, no contact with any of us until you make this right. June still won't look at me. Just 6 months ago, she'd slept on my couch for 3 weeks after her divorce. Now she picks at her cuticles, silent as a stranger. The scene blurs as my mind drifts back to Tuesday night. The familiar scent of lavender oil as I wipe down the massage table. The bell chiming as the front door opened. Hey sis, Zach's easy smile, the one that always preceded disaster. His designer jacket probably cost more than my monthly utilities. Got a minute? I kept cleaning. Just finishing up. Great business you've built here. He ran his finger along the new reception desk. Really impressive. My shoulders tensed. What do you need, Zach? 23 grand. He said it casual as asking for a stick of gum. Just until my new venture takes off. 3 months, tops. The same promised timeline as his food truck. His cryptocurrency trading. His affiliate marketing scheme. I love you, I said, meeting his eyes, but I'm not a bank. His smile hardened. That's cold, Amber, real cold. Mom's call came at midnight. How could you be so heartless? He's drowning in debt. By Wednesday, 3 regular clients had canceled their standing appointments. Whispers spread through our small community. Amber's rolling in money while her brother struggles. Amber turned her back on family. Amber's forgotten where she came from. The grandfather clock chimes, yanking me back to the present. To 8 sets of eyes fixed on me. To the choice they're forcing me to make. My napkin feels starched and stiff as I place it beside my plate. The chair scrapes against hardwood as I stand, my spine straight as the silverware they're using to pin me down. If family means choosing sides, I say, surprising myself with how calm I sound, I choose myself. Mom's water glass clatters against the table. Amber, please. I lift my purse from the back of my chair. The leather strap grounds me, solid and real against my palm. 7 years of early mornings and late nights, of learning from every mistake, of building something honest and true. Real family doesn't force you to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. The silence follows me down the hallway, past the photos of family vacations and graduations, past the marks on the wall tracking Zach's height but not mine, past the life I thought I had to live to be loved. I close the front door behind me, not with a slam, just firmly shut. The night air wraps around me like a blanket, cool and clean. My hands shake as I unlock my car, but my mind feels clearer than it has in years. They made their choice. Now I've made mine. 2 days after the incident, I was at my work checking the usual work and preparing for the clients, when the no-show notification pings on my spa management app. 3rd cancellation this morning. I tap the screen, scanning the message that appears below the client's name. Sorry, Amber, but I can't support someone who abandons family. My phone buzzes again. Another regular client dropping their standing Thursday appointment. 4 years of shoulder work for her carpal tunnel, gone with a single text. The storage closet door clicks shut behind me. Lavender and eucalyptus oils fill my nose as I press my forehead against the cool metal shelving. One tear slides down my cheek. Just one. I swipe it away with the back of my hand, straighten my spine, and smooth my white spa tunic. Mrs. Chen will arrive in 20 minutes for her deep tissue massage. She hasn't canceled. Focus on the clients who stay, I tell myself. Build from there. The morning passes in a blur of essential oils and gentle music. My hands work steady and sure, despite the tremors in my heart. Each client who walks through my door receives the same careful attention I've always given. I refuse to let family drama affect my work. At 3 o'clock, I lock the spa door and drive across town to Mr. Wilson's law office. The leather chairs creak as I sink into one across from his desk. Dark wood paneling surrounds us, unchanged since the Carter administration. I brought the bank statements. My voice stays professional as I slide the folder across his desk. And copies of the previous loans. Mr. Wilson peers at me over his reading glasses, his eyes softening with grandfatherly concern. Are you certain about this, Amber? Family situations can be complex. I'm certain. The words come out stronger than I expect. He nods, reaching for his legal pad. Then let's draft a formal cease of financial obligation. Make it crystal clear where you stand. An hour later, I leave with copies of the notarized document in a manila envelope. The paper feels heavy in my hands, weighted with finality. I stop at the post office, sending identical copies to Mom, Bruce, Uncle Ray, and Zach. Certified mail. Return receipt requested. No room for claims they didn't receive it. The sun sets as I pull into my parking spot behind the spa. A familiar figure huddles near the back door. June. Her arms wrap around herself despite the warm evening. I need to talk to you. Her voice shakes. Inside, please. I hesitate, then unlock the door. June follows me into the darkened spa, her heels clicking against the tile floor. When I flip on the lights, I notice how pale she looks. Shadows purple the skin beneath her eyes. I found something. She fumbles in her oversized purse, pulling out a crumpled stack of papers. In Zach's car. When I was helping him move some boxes. The loan application form bears my spa's name at the top. Further down, a clumsy attempt at my signature sprawls across the dotted line. He asked me to notarize it. June's voice cracks. Said you were too busy to come in person. God, Amber, I almost did it. The forgery swims before my eyes. My own brother. Planning to steal not just money, but my business. My dream. He was using me to get to you. June sinks into one of the waiting room chairs. I'm so sorry, I should have seen it sooner. I fold the papers carefully, sliding them into my desk drawer. Thank you for telling me. There's more. June wrings her hands. I think he's done this before. I thanked her and we parted ways. I was even more determined to cut ties with all of them for good. After I came home, I prepared my dinner, called my friend to meet tomorrow, and went to bed. Tomorrow's going to be a tough day. The next morning, I meet Sarah for coffee before the bank opens. She's been my friend since high school, long before she became a financial advisor. Her eyes widen as she reviews Mom's accounts on her laptop. $31,000. Sarah's fingers fly across the keyboard. Withdrawn from your mother's retirement account over the last 8 months, small amounts each time. My stomach lurches. Show me. She turns the screen. The evidence marches down the page in neat rows. 2,000 here, 1,500 there. Each withdrawal just small enough to avoid triggering alerts. Wait. Sarah clicks through another screen. Look at these text messages Zach sent. The ones he sent to that guy in Phoenix. The words punch the air from my lungs. Amber soft. That spa will be mine in 6 months. Already got Mom's retirement fund as backup capital. My hands curl into fists. This ends now. Days pass with my preps, work, lawyer visits, and my determination grows more and more. I will break them all apart. The next week also blurs into a montage of evidence gathering. Bank statements, text messages, loan applications. Each new discovery lands like another brick in the wall between me and my old life. Between truth and the lies I'd been told about family loyalty. One Wednesday evening, I spread everything across my dining room table after hours. each piece of evidence in its own folder, labeled with sticky notes in my precise handwriting. My hands remain steady as I organize the proof of betrayal. The landline rings, startling me. No one uses that number except family. I let it ring twice before picking up. Mom? My voice comes out calm, determined. I'm hosting dinner this Sunday. Everyone needs to be there, including Zach. The silence stretches between us until she whispers, Amber, please. There are some things you all need to see. I just hung up on her and continued rearranging all the evidence. No doubt they're going to be shocked when they see my secret weapon. Finally, Saturday is here. The rosemary chicken simmers in the oven, filling my kitchen with a scent that would normally bring comfort. My hands move on autopilot, arranging silverware with the same attention to detail I use when setting up treatment rooms at the spa. Each folder sits centered on the plates, labeled with names in my precise handwriting. The wall clock reads 5:45. 15 minutes until they arrive. My gaze catches on the family photos lining the hallway. Mom and Bruce's wedding day. Zach's high school graduation. The grand opening of my first spa location, Zach's arms slung around my shoulders, his smile now carrying a different weight in hindsight. The doorbell chimes at exactly 6. I smooth my black slacks, check my reflection in the hallway mirror. The woman staring back looks collected, professional. Only I notice how my fingers tremble slightly as I reach for the door. Mom enters first, clutching her butter-yellow casserole dish like a shield. Something smells wonderful, honey. Her voice wavers on the endearment. Uncle Ray follows, barely meeting my eyes as he hands me a bottle of wine. The same brand he brought to celebrate my business certificate. June slips in behind him, pale but determined. Bruce takes his usual seat at the head of the table, though his authority feels hollow tonight. Mom fusses with her napkin, rearranging it 4 times before letting it rest. The silence stretches until Uncle Ray clears his throat. Beautiful table setting, Amber. I nod my thanks, watching the door. At 6:22, familiar footsteps sound in the hallway. Zach sweeps in without knocking, designer suit crisp, that easy smile in place. Sorry I'm late, everyone. Traffic was brutal. He kisses Mom's cheek, clasps Uncle Ray's shoulder. His confidence grates against my nerves like sandpaper. I serve the chicken. Watch them eat. Wait. The scrape of forks against plates fills the room until dessert arrives. Coffee cups clink against saucers. The moment spreads honey, thick and slow. Before we finish, I say, my voice steady, I have something to share. I open the folder beside my plate. Pass copies of bank statements down the table. Watch faces change as they register the numbers. The withdrawals. The forged signatures. Mom. My fingers trace the edge of the next document. Did you know about the changes to your retirement account? The color drains from her face. What changes? I slide the statement toward her. Her hands shake as she lifts her reading glasses to her nose. The gasp sounds like it's been punched from her chest. $31,000. The words fall into the silence like stones, withdrawn over 3 months. Zach's laugh cuts through the tension. Come on, sis, you're making this sound like some kind of crime. Because it is. June's voice startles everyone. She stands, pulls more papers from her bag. I found these in your car last week, loan applications, with Amber's forged signature. Uncle Ray's chair scrapes back. You did what? The front door opens. Sarah walks in, banking records tucked under her arm. Mr. Wilson follows, his usual grandfatherly manner hardened into something more formal. Zach's smile cracks at the edges. Ridiculous. You're all acting like you committed fraud? Sarah's heels click against the hardwood as she approaches. Because that's exactly what this is. I pull out my phone, pull up the text message, read it aloud. That spa will be mine in 6 months. Mom's coffee cup rattles against its saucer. Bruce stares at his hands, all previous authority evaporated. Uncle Ray's face darkens with each new revelation. Mr. Wilson has prepared documents. My voice remains level as I distribute the final folders. This severs all financial connections between us. No access to the spa. No future claims or contact. You're being cold. Zach stands, his charm morphing into something uglier. Heartless, after everything this family's done for you. You wanted to burn this bridge. The words taste like truth on my tongue. I'm just making sure it doesn't rebuild. June moves to stand beside me. Sarah's hand rests on my shoulder. Mr. Wilson's presence adds weight to the moment. The truth sits exposed on my dining room table, undeniable as the silverware I polished this afternoon. In the silence that follows, power shifts like tectonic plates. The earthquake I feared has come and gone, leaving me standing on solid ground. Mom stares at the retirement statement. Years of willful blindness crumbling. Uncle Ray's fingers curl into fists, his protection instinct redirecting as facts sink in. Bruce studies his stepson like he's seeing him clearly for the first time. Zach looks around the table, searching for allies and finding none. His confident facade crumbles into something desperate and small. A minute later, the sound of chairs scraping back carries through the doorway. Footsteps shuffle in the hall. The front door opens and closes like punctuation marks, ending chapters of deception one family member at a time. When the house falls quiet, Sarah squeezes my shoulder. June starts gathering documents. Mr. Wilson nods, his approval carrying the weight of years. The rosemary scent still lingers, but it doesn't need to bring comfort anymore. I found something stronger. The peace of standing in my truth, surrounded by people who chose to stand with me. Through my kitchen window, the sun sets on the family I was born into. But as I turn to face my chosen family, I realize I'm not watching anything end. I'm watching something better begin. The following Monday morning, a stack of canceled appointments sits on my desk like a house of cards. Mrs. Henderson, every Thursday for 3 years. The Jacobson sisters alternate Fridays since my first month. Even old Mr. Peters, who swore my hot stone massage was the only thing keeping his arthritis at bay. The morning sun streams through the spa windows, casting long shadows across the empty waiting area. My fingers trace the edge of the appointment book, lingering over the blank spaces where familiar names used to be. The bell above the door chimes. I straighten my spine, professional smile already in place. Hi, I'm Jennifer. A woman with silver-streaked hair stands in the doorway. Sarah from the bank said you might have an opening? 2 more women peer around her shoulder, purses clutched close. My banker friend Sarah, always fighting my battles without being asked. Welcome to Amber Glow. My voice stays steady, even as relief floods through me. I have several time slots available today. The women exchange glances. Jennifer steps forward. We heard what happened with your family. Sarah told us how you protected your business. She squares her shoulders. That's exactly the kind of person I want handling my skincare. My throat tightens. I gesture toward the reception area, taking a moment to compose myself. Please, have a seat. I'll get you some cucumber water while we discuss treatment options. By closing time, 3 new appointments fill the empty slots. Small victories. The rumors about Zach surface a week later. Arizona, according to June's text message. Some startup involving cryptocurrency and organic smoothies. The details blur together like watercolors in rain. Mom's voicemails pile up, each one more desperate than the last. Please, sweetie, he's your brother. We can work this out as a family. I let them accumulate unheard, like autumn leaves against a fence. June calls on a Tuesday, voice sharp with anger. That money he took? It wasn't just from your mom. He cleaned out my mother's savings too. I'm filing charges. The words settle like stones in my stomach. Another branch of the family tree poisoned by Zach's choices. A plain white envelope appears under my door one morning. Bruce's handwriting, slanted and careful. I should have seen it sooner. I'm sorry. No signature. A return address. Just words on paper, years too late. The community whispers shift like wind through curtains. Mrs. Miller at the grocery store catches my eye, instead of turning away. Such a shame about your brother, she says, patting my arm. You did what you had to do. The Korean restaurant next door sends over lunch, bulgogi and kimchi, enough for 2 days. Business owners stick together, Mr. Park says when I try to pay. Some family you choose. My regular clients trickle back like spring rain. I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions, Mrs. Henderson says, settling onto the massage table. My sister tried the same thing with her son. Sometimes love means saying no. I adjust the table's height, hiding my trembling hands in the folds of my apron. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for showing me what backbone looks like. And that's how I win back these small victories during this whole week. The family photos at my home come down on a Sunday afternoon, Mother's frozen smile at my cosmetology graduation. Uncle Ray teaching me to drive. Zach and me at the state fair, cotton candy sticky on our fingers. Each frame leaves a pale rectangle on the wall, like a scar that hasn't quite healed. Sarah arrives with takeout and determination. We're redecorating, she announces, dropping bags of Thai food on my coffee table. I brought command strips and that art print you liked from the gallery. June shows up with a bottle of wine and her own stack of frames. I printed some photos from the Chamber of Commerce mixer. You know when you won that small business award? The new photos go up as the sun sets. Me cutting the ribbon at my spa opening. Sarah and I at the local business owner's lunch. June and her daughter at my holiday client appreciation event. Moments of joy untainted by manipulation. To standing your ground, Sarah says later, raising her glass. The Thai food containers lie empty between us, chopsticks crossed like fallen branches. The smile that crosses my face feels foreign, like a muscle long unused, to chosen family. The following weeks, the spa evolves in small ways. New organic products line the shelves, carefully researched and tested. The massage table I'd been eyeing for months finally arrives, its leather smooth and unblemished. The vacant space next door becomes available in late autumn. I sign the lease with steady hands, my bank account balanced and healthy. The expansion happens slowly, deliberately. Each decision made with clarity instead of crisis. A new sign gleams above both doors. Amber Glow, built with integrity. Dr. Matthews adjusts her reading glasses, peering at me across her desk. How are you feeling about your boundaries? I consider the question, watching dust motes dance in the afternoon light of her office. Lighter, I say finally, like I've set down something heavy I didn't know I was carrying. She nods, making a small note. And the family questions? Holiday season's approaching. I tell people the truth. I'm spending it with friends this year. The words come easier now, smooth as river stones. No guilt, no explanations needed. She nods, then turns away. The next day, my calendar sits open on my desk, pages crisp and clean. December squares fill with client appointments, supply deliveries, a weekend spa retreat I'm planning for spring. No obligatory family dinners, no emergency loans disguised as brotherly visits. The morning sun streams through both spa windows now, drawing golden paths across the new hardwood floors. I unlock the door at exactly 8, flipping the sign to open. The bell chimes. Another day begins. The business I built, the peace I chose, the family I found. All of it earned, one quiet choice at a time. Time moved gently, like the steam rising from a morning cup of tea until, almost without noticing, the quiet life I'd built began to hum with steady rhythm and demand. Now, 6 months later, the waiting list had grown to 3 weeks. I studied the column of names in my appointment book, each slot filled with black ink. No more gaps between clients, no more desperate attempts to fill last-minute cancellations. My fingertips traced the leather cover, remembering the days when this book held more empty spaces than names. A spray bottle and cloth sat ready on my freshly sanitized massage table. The piece had settled into a rhythm as dependable as my morning cleaning routine. The early sun stretched across hardwood floors I'd finally had professionally restored, warming the space that was entirely, unquestionably mine. Sarah's text lit up my phone. Breaking records again this month? I allowed myself a small smile. The numbers didn't lie. Revenue had doubled since January, each careful decision building on the last. No shortcuts, no compromises, no family loans disguised as investments. The mail slot clinked. Through the front window, I watched Mrs. Henderson shuffle away from my door, her mail carrier uniform as crisp as ever. The morning stack waited in its usual neat pile, except for one envelope that didn't belong. Arizona postmark. No return address. My hands didn't shake as I picked it up. Progress, I supposed. The familiar scrawl across the front sent my stomach twisting. 6 months of silence shattered by Zach's handwriting, still trying too hard to look casual. I sat at my reception desk, letter opener sliding clean through the envelope's seam. The paper inside smelled faintly of someone else's cologne. Expensive, trying to cover something else. Dear Sis, the letter began, as if we were characters in some wholesome family sitcom. I've been doing a lot of thinking out here in the desert. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to see the light, right? 4 pages of careful cursive followed. Words like transformation and spiritual awakening scattered between vague apologies and vaguer promises. My eyes caught on phrases that sparked familiar warning bells, exciting opportunity, and ground floor, and family support. The letter ended with, "The past is the past. Let's start fresh. I found my real purpose now." Not one mention of the money he'd stolen. One concrete step toward making anything right. The bell above my door chimed. I looked up to find Mom hovering in the entrance, clutching her purse like a shield. Her hair had more gray now, but her eyes still held that desperate hope that made my chest ache. "He's different this time, Amber." Her voice wavered. "I can feel it." I gestured to the chair across from my desk. She perched on the edge, already digging through her purse. Out came the photos. Me and Zach building sandcastles. Zach at his high school graduation. Family Christmas cards spanning decades of forced smiles. "Remember how close you two were?" She spread the photos across my appointment book. I studied the images, seeing what she couldn't. How Zach's smile never quite reached his eyes. How often my younger self stood slightly apart, already learning to create distance. "I got his letter too," I said quietly. "He's found God out there in Arizona." Mom's fingers worried the edge of a photo. "He's working with this amazing life coach. They're starting this program to help people transform their lives through spiritual entrepreneurship." The familiar weight settled in my stomach. Another scheme, dressed in shinier clothes. That evening, after my last client left, I sat in the dim spa. The letter lay open on my desk, Zach's words blurring as I stared past them. Part of me wanted to believe. Wanted the fairy tale ending, where my brother finally grew up. Where family gatherings didn't require careful accounting afterward. My phone buzzed. Sarah's message glowed in the darkness. "People show you who they are. Believe them the first time." Before I could respond, another text arrived from June. "Don't let him sweet talk you. He hasn't paid back a penny he stole from my mom." The truth of it settled into my bones. Pretty words couldn't erase the concrete reality of drained bank accounts and shattered trust. Real change required more than vague promises of spiritual awakening. It demanded action, accountability, honest work. I pulled out my good stationery, the heavy cream paper I saved for important client communications. My pen moved steadily across the page. "Dear Zach, I received your letter. I'm glad you're seeking positive change in your life. However, reconciliation requires more than words. Here are my conditions. 1. Full repayment of all stolen funds, including Mom's retirement money and June's savings. 2. Regular sessions with a licensed therapist, not a life coach. 3. Public acknowledgement of your actions and their impact. 4. Concrete evidence of legitimate employment or business ownership. Until these conditions are met, I maintain my boundaries. This isn't about punishment, it's about protecting myself and others from further harm. I wish you well on your journey toward genuine transformation. Amber." 2 days later, Mom appeared at the spa again. Her eyes were red-rimmed, her hands trembling as she held out her phone. "Did you see this?" She pulled up a crowdfunding page. "He's building something wonderful. Look, he even mentions you." The page showed Zach's smiling face above a polished pitch. "Inspired by my sister's successful spa business, I'm launching a revolutionary wellness program." Below that, photos of our family dotted the narrative, including several of my spa taken without permission. Mom's voice cracked. "He's never going to change, is he?" I took her hand, feeling the familiar softness of her skin, the slight tremor that hadn't been there 6 months ago. "No, Mom, he's not." She sank into the reception chair, decades of enable finally crumbling under the weight of truth. I kept hold of her hand as reality washed over us both, a tide that could destroy or cleanse depending on whether you fought it or learned to swim. "I need to report that crowdfunding page," I said gently. "Those photos weren't his to use." Mom nodded, her fingers tightening around mine. Outside, Mrs. Henderson walked past with her mailbag, right on schedule. The sun warmed my hardwood floors. Appointment slots waited to be filled with clients who trusted my work, not my family name. Some bridges couldn't be rebuilt. Some shouldn't be. Even without the bridges behind me, I kept walking forward until one day I arrived at something entirely new. That's how a whole year has passed. The ribbon slices cleanly beneath my scissors, floating to the ground in a crimson spiral. Applause ripples through the crowd gathered outside my expanded spa location. June beams beside me, her receptionist badge catching the morning sunlight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the new Amber Glow Day Spa. My voice carries across the parking lot without strain. A year ago, these words would have stuck in my throat. Sarah whistles from the front row. Mr. Wilson dabs at his eyes with a handkerchief, though he'll deny it later. They're my real family now, earned through trust instead of blood. Inside, the renovation gleams. Natural stone tiles replace the old linoleum. Soft music drifts from hidden speakers. The air carries hints of lavender and eucalyptus. 3 new treatment rooms branch off from the expanded waiting area, each one a testament to 7 years of careful planning. June arranges crystal water glasses on a tray. First client arrives in 30 minutes. She pauses. You know what today is? I nod. 1 year since that dinner where I finally chose myself. The memory has lost its sting. The celebration unfolds without pretense. No forced speeches or hidden agendas. Just coffee, pastries, and genuine congratulations from people who want to see me succeed. The simple joy feels foreign after years of family tension, but I'm learning to accept it. Sarah corners me by the refreshment table. Heard about Zach's latest venture in California? Solar panel pyramid scheme? She snorts. Close. Cryptocurrency for pets. The news should hurt. Instead, I feel only a distant pity. His schemes have become someone else's problem. A text lights up my phone. Mom. She's learning. Slowly. No more guilt trips or demands, just brief updates and the occasional photo of her garden. Bruce has vanished completely from my life. We both prefer it that way. Uncle Ray's letter sits unopened in my desk drawer. The return address says Oregon, where he moved after retiring. Maybe someday I'll read it. For now, the distance feels healthy. The morning crowd thins. June helps me set up for the day's appointments. Still okay if I take Thursday afternoons for my accounting classes? Of course. I adjust a stack of warm towels. Education comes first. Her smile reminds me why I started my business mentorship program 3 months ago. 6 women, all rebuilding their lives after financial exploitation. We meet Tuesday evenings after closing, sharing stories and strategies. Last week, Patricia finally left her manipulative brother-in-law's failing restaurant venture. She cried when she signed the lease on her own bakery space. My therapist called it turning pain into purpose. I call it common sense. Someone has to break these cycles. The bell chimes. My first client enters, a grandmother celebrating her 70th birthday. Her daughters bought her a spa day package. As I lead her to the treatment room, she mentions her own mother's beauty shop from the 1960s. We trade stories about hot roller sets and Aquanet while I massage her shoulders. These moments ground me. Simple human connections without manipulation or expectations. Evening brings my chosen family for dinner. Sarah brings her famous potato salad. June brought beautiful homemade bread and cookies. Mr. Wilson tells terrible lawyer jokes that somehow get funnier with repetition. The laughter flows naturally, no one watching their words or walking on eggshells. To family, Sarah raises her glass. The one we build, not just the one we're born into. The words settle into my bones like sunlight. I'm not waiting for disasters anymore. No more bracing for the next crisis or calculating how much help I can afford to give. Just peace, earned through 1,000 small choices to value myself. The magazine interview runs next week. The reporter seemed surprised when I spoke openly about family financial pressure. Most people dodge these topics, she said. Silence protects the wrong people. Letters have already started arriving. Women thanking me for giving them permission to say no. Men struggling to untangle family obligations from self-respect. Each story echoes pieces of my own. The spa stands quiet now, treatment rooms dark, diffusers switched off for the night. I move through my closing routine with practiced ease. Check the appointment book. Count the register. Set up fresh towels for tomorrow. The phone rings. A year ago, that sound sparked dread. Now, it's just a phone. Probably Mrs. Henderson rescheduling her Friday facial. Stars dust the sky as I lock up, their light steady and sure. The path ahead stretches clear and uncluttered. Every step takes me further from who I was, closer to who I choose to be. I smile, keys jingling in my palm, and walk home.